81. Welcome to the PHDJ podcast, everybody. This is Mike.
Hey, it's Joe.
Hey, Joe, you know what I decided? I didn't even run this by you, but I'm just making an executive decision. We don't need to count anymore. You know what I mean? Like, we already passed 52. We passed we'll count when we put them up on SoundCloud and everything else. But, you know, we start every episode. This is 53 and 55. Who cares? We're already over 50. We're over a year. So we should just start each episode. Welcome to the PHDJ podcast. That's all.
I like that.
And from what I understand, people binge listen to these and listen to them out of order anyway. So
that's a valid point.
It doesn't really matter. You know, how are you, man?
I'm good, brother. I'm good. I was, as I was telling you off air, so today we're oddly recording on a Tuesday afternoon.
A little bit early in the week.
Yeah, we usually record Wednesday mornings because
apparently the snowpocalypse
is coming to the Carolinas.
Which means what? The inch?
Oh, not even. You're being generous. It will absolutely shut down school. Let me think. I mean, if it's more than an inch, they won't go to school the rest of the week. And my kids have not
meaning
been
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday off.
No, absolutely.
And P.S. Were they off yesterday for Martin Luther King
Absolutely,
Day?
100%.
Boy, so they might have kids, one of those one-day weeks.
Yeah, have not been to school in the past 30 days.
Probably 4 times.
Maybe 4 times.
Yeah.
But
and they might get another week off.
Yeah. I mean, between Christmas and that there was another random snow that was less than an inch. Put it this way, I fully got decked out, full gear, took my kids to the best sledding hill in town, walked all the way down there, laid the sled down, and it wouldn't even go. That's how little snow there was.
Speaking of which, did you see the video? It was all over the internet a couple weeks ago of the dog that was sledding down the hill and then carrying its own sled back up the hill.
No.
God, it was maybe just awesome. As a pet owner.
No,
but this thing was the most adorable. This dog sat on its own sled, went all the way down the hill, picked the sled back up with its teeth, and walked all the way back up and did it again and again. They said the dog did it like 50 times in a row.
Oh, man, he was so exhausted.
I loved it.
That dog slept.
Hey, I see that you booked a gig up by me. You're going to be up in Albany next month?
Is that up that way?
Yeah. Well, it's further than I am, but yeah.
I don't know. Somebody gave me hell about it because I said something like, hey, upstate New York, and because Randy told me that Albany is upstate, but then like somebody sent me this map and it was super sarcastic, and it was like the west side of New York. It was like they don't even call it soda pop here or something.
No, but you know what? As a guy who grew up in New York City, Albany's upstate. Like anything an hour or more outside the city's upstate New York.
Okay.
So it's sort of like New Jersey. People say I live in South Jersey, but if you look at a map, I'm really more Central Jersey. But I would. You're not that wrong.
Okay.
Upstate New York.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Well,
but it's probably like 2 hours for me. But I circled that date. I might take a ride up. That's Monday night.
That would be amazing. Yeah, I think it is a Monday night.
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah,
that'd be kind of cool.
And Big Daddy's like the opener.
Yeah, Big Daddy said he was going to open for you, so I might come up and see you and see BD and a few other people.
That'd be cool. Yeah,
kind of cool.
Please do.
So I have one main topic that I wanted to kick around today, but I wanted to start with some music stuff before we get to that. Okay. First of all, did you see the news that the Cranberries lead singer died? I can't. Dolores
O'Riordan.
I got to be honest. I never knew her name, but I remember the Cranberries certainly. Any thoughts, reminiscences? I mean, obviously it wasn't much gig music, but
but I did love that song. I guess it was in the '90s, right? Zombie
was big, and Dreams was big. You don't have to let it linger.
Oh, that was a great song.
Once again, Mike should not be singing on our podcast, but that's all right. But yeah, I mean, I've made the argument before that the 90s were the last great decade for rock music, and that alternative movement was a big part of it. And I would put them into that. You know, they kind of had that harder alternative sound, but obviously with a very cool Irish female singer's voice, which kind of, offset it from everything else. Yeah, I can't say I was a huge fan of their music, but it certainly, and she's a young girl too, like young woman, 40s, something like that. Kind of weird.
It was weird. Yeah. I don't know that they know why yet, but.
Yeah, well, so got to be something at that age.
Yeah, I know.
And some new music is out, so let's talk about that. What are your thoughts about first of all, Finesse, the Cardi B, Bruno Mars?
Man, I think the problem with me is it's not different enough from the original, and I don't like Cardi B. So Finesse came out almost a year and a half ago, at least 18 months ago, because it's the 9th track on that Bruno record. There's only 10 songs on the record. So when
Joe
it came
showing
out,
his musical knowledge.
I'm just
very
telling
good,
you,
Joe.
10,
very good.
The 9 or 10 songs on that album, when that came out, my little guy and I played that album every night when I came up. So I'm already tired of Finesse and every other song on the album.
So for people who didn't buy the Bruno Mars album, and this is new to them because it's now a new release, do you think it's going to get radio play and promotional push? Do you think it'll be a gig song?
Yes, but I mean, I know it sounds dated and it's supposed to sound dated, like Poison or something like Belle Biv DeVoe, that kind of vibe to it.
Yep.
I don't know.
Did you see the mix I put together last week? I put together, because I've been listening to the track now the last week or so, and it's got me in that New Jack Swing vibe. And so I put together a whole 45-minute set, and I put that song in. I posted it like a week ago.
Did you call it?
You ignore my shit. So New Jack Swing mix. I think I was really innovative about that.
Dude, I missed that. I missed that.
Yeah. And it's 45 minutes of that late 80s, early 90s vibe to it. And I snuck Finesse in there, and it fits in perfectly. I think I snuck it. I think I put Poison right after. I forget the song I put before, but I mean, it's got that same kind of drum beat, hip hop slash Euro dance kind of amalgamation that really worked for a while. You know what I mean?
That 111 tempo kind of stuff. I just don't like Cardi B. I guess that's one of my other problems. Sorry.
You got something against strippers, or what's your thing?
I got no problem against strippers. I just don't think she can flow. I don't like it. I don't.
All right.
She's not.
And what about the other new one, Filthy, the JT?
God, come on, man. That's a softball. I mean, he could fart in the microphone for 3.5 minutes, and I'd be like, "That's the dopest shit I've ever heard." It's Timberland and Timberlake. I mean, it's just.
Dude, the drum beat on it is sick. It really is. It goes, I don't think it's got gig potential. Yeah, I know. It's kind of like a backwards.
Dude, you know what? I dug through old Prince records. I think it sounds like a Prince record.
Well, Prince actually did that with a song. Oh, my God, my Prince.
I know. That's what I thought you were going to be like, I
claim to be such a big fan. What's the song where he reversed the drum,
that was,
and he actually played it. It's off Sign of the Times. I forget the name of the song. God, I can't believe it. It'll hit me as soon as. But I mean, that is a technique, and I don't think Prince is the only one to use it. I don't know if that's what Timbaland is doing in that song, but it certainly sounds like it. It sounds like the drum beat almost dissipates and then pops, as opposed to a normal drum which hits and then dissipates.
It bangs.
Do you think it has gig potential though? Because I don't hear it unless somebody comes up with a cool remix, which I'm sure people are already working on it.
Oh, there's probably 50 already. I don't know, man. No, if it did, it would be like a quick hit kind of thing, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, the only place I've heard it or played it is in a gym.
You know what's funny?
In a group class, you know what I mean?
And we're going to get to the football in a little bit, because that's my main topic, the game from this past weekend. But I've been watching the playoffs for the last 2 weeks, obviously, and the NFL has been using it a lot to get in and out of commercials. And really just to draw. And I don't think I would recognize it other than the fact that I've listened to it a lot.
Yeah.
But I guess they just obviously they like it because it's new and it's identifiable. And JT is playing at halftime too, right?
Oh, yeah,
so
he is.
They're probably subtly teasing that.
Yeah.
Hold on one second. I got to.
Okay.
Mia just dropped a toy for me, so I got to go through that.
Christmas-related toy.
For you people watching on YouTube, that's what that was. So, yeah, I've been hearing it a lot that way. I haven't really heard it a lot on radio, and I've only done one wedding so far this past weekend.
Right.
I didn't play either one of them, but, I mean, I suspect if I'm dropping one of the two, I think it's going to be Finesse, because I just think it's a little bit more of a dance beat. And I also think Justin Timberlake's got an entire album coming out, and I have a feeling there's going to be a few more danceable type of sexy back or Can't Stop the Feeling kind of songs on that, hopefully, because his stuff always invigorates the dance floor. And then one other song that took me by surprise, I just got a request for it this past weekend. I didn't know, it's been out for a couple months, but Tim McGraw and Faith Hill have a new ballad out. Have you heard it?
I just listened to it because you told me we were going to talk about it. Yeah.
It's so funny. Everyone's been assuming that Perfect was going to be the wedding song of the year, especially with the duet version with him and Beyonce.
Sure.
But, man, that song, I think, has potential to be another big, I'm old enough, a lot of our listeners, when It's Your Love was basically the wedding song of probably like more than a year, like a year or two.
Even up there? even though it's kind of country.
Even up here, I mean, there are some country songs that kind of cross over. Amazed by Lone Star did it. My Wish by Rascal Flatts did it as far as a parent's dance.
Yep.
And I think that'll be one. And it's funny because if you follow their relationship, It's Your Love, I think, was when they first got married, or maybe even I forget exactly the time. Maybe even pre-marriage. But this is now, what are they married? 21 years. Oh. So it's pretty wild.
Yeah, it is crazy. I think you're right, man. It's got potential.
Yeah.
I listen to it.
And again, and the point that I always make with any wedding song, First Dance, if you can find a duet, because this way you have both voices, both genders represented. Other than same-sex marriages, I mean, a duet makes more sense for a wedding song. So I think 2 weeks ago, where I thought Perfect was going to be 90% of my wedding songs this year, I think maybe 60%, and I think this one might nudge in and be a good third.
Are they playing it on? I don't listen to country radio. I wonder if they're playing it. Like if it's
only just got released as a single, which is why I'm going to start hearing. And the weird part about that is, if you look up the video, the video doesn't work for the song. The video starts with the two of them in the back of their limousine arguing. Faith Hill gets out of the limousine and she's walking in the rain. It's a nice excuse to get some shots of her walking in the rain, but a beautiful woman wet.
Still,
but so the video just doesn't make sense. But obviously the video doesn't, in my opinion, it doesn't affect
I got you.
Yeah. So in preparation for our main topic today, I asked you, have you ever thought about firing somebody impulsively and then either did it and maybe regretted it later or not, or didn't do it and were happy that you didn't do it? Do you have a scenario in your storied history of running Bunn DJ Co. of anything like that?
I have a long history of this statement. I wish Randy was here because he would love this. I have a long history of, bro, this guy's going to be a freaking rock star. And then 6 months later, he's fired before he even did a gig. And it's just one of those guys that, like, on paper, or, on paper he looked good, or in the interview he looked good, or maybe we went to, we happened to be out at the PHDJ workshop when it was here, and we went to that bar across the street, and that guy was a superstar, and I convinced him that he doesn't want to be a club DJ. He wants to work for Bunn DJ Company. Right. So I have a long history of those. But normally, like I was explaining to you, if I fire somebody, they're gone.
Right.
My only exception, and I still don't know that it was the right decision, was I did have a guy that needed drug rehab, and I didn't figure it out until late in the game. I didn't know what was wrong with him, but I thought he was just I just thought he was bad with money, Mike, because it wasn't when I'm telling you that every time he did a gig he got a good review, so it wasn't. But now getting him to the gig was an act of God. It was Thursday afternoon. Hey, man, I need you to call the pawn shop and get my gear out.
Wow. Like that, huh?
Like on Thursday afternoon. And I'd be like, okay. And I'm not talking about like, a set of speakers. I'm talking about stands, speakers, laptop. I mean, all of it.
Right.
So my hands are tied, so I would do it and then take it out of his check on Monday. And then 2 weeks later, it would happen again. And I just... Until he told me I've got a problem, I just thought he was, just mismanaging money. And like I tell all my guys, this is not your full-time job. Even somebody like Randy, never had kids, never got married. He's still a realtor. You know what I mean? It's just not, you would have to live well below your means to make this your full-time job. Because they're all like, they're part-time employees. I mean, they work on Saturdays, Fridays. So... I guess that one is.
What eventually happened?
I guess. Sorry. I did not let him go. I took his gear from him. He went away for several months, and when he came back,
he had to go to.
He did.
Therapy,
He went to rehab, and so I took his gear so it didn't get sold or stole or whatever. I put it in storage. He came back. He wanted to work again right when he got out, and I kind of put him on ice for a while. Still had his gear. I think I kind of had him out like assisting me a little bit, which I never do, as you know, and then eventually rehired him, and then it just came back to bite me in the ass again. Honestly, it just kind of the pattern started again.
All right, so you don't have a story that's similar to, and the reason why I wanted to talk about this today.
Yeah,
but,
I'm assuming you
do. And I do, and something came up this weekend that made me think of it pretty much instantly. Yeah. So you watched that New Orleans Vikings game?
Every play, unbelievable.
Which was incredible. And it's funny when you think about it, the game itself wasn't great.
Yeah.
The fourth quarter was great.
Yeah, insane.
You know what I mean? The first half, Minnesota's running away with it.
Yeah.
I texted. Do you know David Hoyt?
Yeah,
he lives in Arizona, but he grew up in New Orleans. He's the only real die-hard Saint fan that I know.
Right.
And I texted him at halftime, and I said, "Hey man, if you want a silver lining, you're only down by 17."
Right.
You know what I mean? Because they really could have been down 28-0 in that game. Minnesota outplayed them. So sure enough, as often happens, Minnesota didn't put the Saints away in the first half. Saints come back. They actually take a lead. In the last 3 minutes of that game, there's 4 effing lead changes. 4 lead changes in the last 3 minutes.
Yeah,
the last 3 minutes.
That's right.
Because the Saints scored to go up by a point.
That's right.
With 3 minutes left.
That's right.
Minnesota marches down the field. And I'm saying, first of all, I got to watch the game with my dad, which is always a thrill.
Yeah.
My parents are out for the weekend. Yeah. So my dad and I are sitting on my couch down here in the basement.
Sure.
I said, Dad, Minnesota better take their time. They're going to leave Breeze too much time. Sure enough,
Breeze
they
is sweet.
The field goal.
Breeze
comes right. And then I was saying the same thing with New Orleans, though. I said, New Orleans, you want to kick this field goal at 0-0. You want to finish this game. Sure enough, they kicked the field goal at 25 seconds, which you wouldn't think is enough time.
I know.
Especially with, who's Case Keenum, right? I mean, no one's ever even heard of this quarterback who's now leading the Vikings.
He's been on like 5 teams.
He takes the team back down the field. It looks like a desperation play. He throws the pass to, what's his name,
Diggs.
So the thing that made me think of this was Marcus Williams is the safety for New Orleans, who basically
he must have closed his eyes.
Attempted one of the worst tackles, especially when you see horrible tackles like that all the time in the NFL. But not when a playoff game is on the line.
Right. On the sideline. You see those open field field tackle is hard as hell.
Basically, he tried to roll the guy up, hoping he'd hit his legs and the guy would top ball. Instead of wrapping him up like we were all taught to do in Pop Warner, get your arms around him. I'll never forget my Pop Warner coach told us all on defense. He goes, if you can't make the tackle yourself, hang on and wait for help.
Right.
And I always love that line.
Yeah, just get dragged down the field.
Sometimes I think about that business. Like if it's been a bad week, just hang on and wait for help. You know what I mean? But instead of wrapping the guy up and trying to bring him down, he rolls, and then not only does he miss the guy, but he takes out his own quarterback, which leaves Diggs basically to waltz in. So the worst tackle you'll ever see in a big spot of the game.
Yep.
Somebody who I'm connected with on Facebook and somebody who's in this industry and is a multi-op wrote on Facebook immediately. He said that guy has to be cut.
Wow.
So I don't know much about the Saints, so I looked it up. So Marcus Williams was their second-round draft choice this year, and he is part of their, the reason why New Orleans made it to the playoffs and had such a good year was that they have rebuilt their defense, and their defense is now set for the next couple of years with this influx of good, young talent, incredible talent.
Sure.
And Marcus Williams was a big part of that. So I'm trying to think what the equivalency of this in our industry. I don't think it's the equivalency of missing a gig because that's a little harsh.
No.
But playing the wrong wedding song?
Yeah.
Okay. Or maybe not having the wedding song, and that's actually like impossible to do nowadays because you can just download.
Yeah, you can always move it to later in this.
And you played the wrong wedding song, and the couple's on a dance floor like this isn't our wedding song. You could, back in our day. Well, sorry, I don't have it. But nowadays you can download it to a phone. Sure. So it's even hard to come up with being an hour late maybe to a wedding. I don't know. I'm trying to come up with an analogy for our
playing the wrong song for any special moment. A parent dance or first dance.
So do you fire? So here you have a new guy because this guy's a rookie.
Yeah.
He's gotten off to a pretty good start. He had a really good season. Yeah. He's not going to win Rookie Defensive Player of the Year or anything. But he, again, is part of that resurgent Saint defense. Is this mistake cut worthy or not?
No.
Do you cut the guy?
Nope.
Okay.
No.
I totally agree. And I thought of an example, and I'm going to be as vague as possible here because he's somebody that most people know in the industry. But one of my newer guys back in the day went through training, had literally just gotten his career started. maybe done half a dozen weddings. He has an afternoon wedding. We get a phone call at the office, half hour into cocktail hour. Where's my DJ?
Ooh.
I call him. I get him on the phone. He goes, oh, my God, I thought that wedding was tonight. Thank God it was close to his house. Okay, if it had been far, we would have been. But he gets in the car. He gets over there, arrived just about the time intros were supposed to start. So obviously it took 20, 25 minutes to get his gear set up, everything else. Client wasn't thrilled with it, but didn't give us a huge complaint, said, look, stuff happens, everything else. This guy showed up at my office Monday morning, so apologetic and almost in tears. I'm so sorry. This will never happen again. And P.S., I don't want to say how long it's been because that will, maybe limit, maybe pinpoint who he is on staff. But years and years and years later, I've never had an issue with this guy and everything else. And that's when I saw somebody go, you got to cut Marcus Williams. That's the guy I thought of. And I said, no, man, people are allowed to be human and make mistakes early on.
Sure.
And if you don't let them learn from that, then, and if you, like, I could have fired this guy. I could have fired him and said, nobody ever shows up late for a wedding. You're fired. What good would that have? This guy would have gone to work for another company in my market, would have gone on to have a great career for that DJ company.
Could have made you a lot of money.
Exactly. Right. But meanwhile, he did. He has made me and himself tons of money through the years. He's made tons of brides happy through the years and gotten tons of great reviews and referrals. So he stubbed his toe early on, a la Marcus Williams, who, will probably go his entire career. Even if this kid goes on to a Hall of Fame career, he'll still always be known as, aren't you the guy that missed that tackle in the playoff game? I mean, it's just going to be. It's just going to be, you know what I mean? But he can kind of eradicate that reputation if he goes on to a great career.
I agree, man. I couldn't agree more. I didn't know where you were taking this when you mentioned it the other day. I was like, I didn't know it was going to relate to Marcus Williams. I thought it was more an offensive thing.
My point about it was going to be, and I hope it is, and I hope I'm getting this across, that especially early in a DJ's career, and it's different in my model as it is in yours, because I have trained and nurtured and taken somebody from here to here, and I'm using hand signals, which doesn't work unless you're watching this on YouTube, but taking them from knowing little to nothing about the business to teaching them. I've gone through all that energy and effort, and yes, early on in guys' careers, sometimes I get a complaint, I get an issue, I get something that happens, and a lot of times it's their response that determines whether they stay on staff or not. Because exactly I had a similar issue, and I think we've talked about it on this podcast, where I let a young guy go, and it was because of his response. His response was not exactly, well, shit happens, but sort of. It was sort of like, hey, man, it happened. Are we going to learn from this? Well, yeah, I guess. It was like that. And I just said, no, this guy is not serious enough about fixing this problem. And so I let him go. So I'm not saying that you should keep everybody on staff after they screw up, but I'm also saying, and I think this is so important if you're trying to build a multi-op, that go back to the football, one missed tackle to end the playoff game and cost you a shot at a Super Bowl is not enough to cut a young guy, especially if you believe in your heart that young guy has a ton of potential.
I mean, listen, I think that anybody listening to this, I don't care how good you are, I don't care how long you've been doing it, in the amount, if you're doing a lot of gigs a year, you're bound to make a stumble, a name slip, a bad mix, a chop a song at the wrong spot, mix the order up of something. I mean, it just happens. Like you said, people are allowed mistakes. It's twofold. One, how detrimental or critical is this mistake? You know what I mean? And showing up late or not showing up is unforgivable, versus, something like that where he still made a save. Is forgivable, and especially early in their career. I mean, he took it as a learning moment. He was humble. He was sorry. I probably would have let it ride myself. I mean, I think it's again, I look back at, there's a staff picture back there that I've tried multiple photographers to Photoshop the head off this one kid that I can't stand. I remember being right.
You replaced him with another head?
I did.
We do that all the time in our group pictures.
I did. So we were in here, and there was maybe, I think, 4 guys that, out of whatever, 15 that didn't have the 1-minute bio video on the website. And so I had a videographer come in. This was 10 in the morning, not early. It was a weekday. They were set up back here, and everybody, all the gear set up. I think this guy, Scott, came in first. Another guy came in, and then third guy walked in, and he was kind of out of order, but I put him on. So I'm calling this young guy. Young as in probably 20, 21. Hey, man, where are you? And he had moved here from California. He thought he was an actor. Well, man, I know, I got to be at work, and I just know how long it takes to set up lights and stuff. I said, bro, we're not filming the Avengers. It's happening right now. Right. You're about to go on right now. They're sitting back there rolling film, and you're supposed to be here. This isn't. It's literally a walk in. I ask you some questions off screen, and then you answer them. Well, man, I just don't think I'm gonna make it. I fired him on the spot. Never did a gig. So, it was that kind of attitude. I mean, he was literally acting like it was like we were on set in L.A. or something, and they were having to move cameras for a new shot.
Right. Right. And that's why he never made it as an actor, and that's why he never made it as a DJ with that kind of attitude. Yeah, exactly. All right, so I think we put a wrap on it there. Joe, we sold another seat to our workshop in March, so we are at 15 business owners, and as I told you today, I think we're going to surpass 20, and I wouldn't be surprised if we close this one out. So anyone who's listening, if you've been kicking around, if you've been considering it, hopefully, you heard the announcement 2 episodes ago about Jeremy Jones. So we've added some additional educational content. Yep. And I've been working on my stuff already. I know, Joe, you've been getting your stuff together. Content is going to be incredible. So seriously consider. Go to PHDJworkshop.com, get the full itinerary, all the topics we're going to be talking about, and make your plans.
I mean, honestly, guys, join us at the workshop. Be at Mobile Beat. I mean, this is like the pinnacle of the DJ conferences. MobileBeatLasVegas.com. Mike is speaking. Mike, remind me one more time what you're. Interactive.
Wednesday morning it's called Get Up and Interact, and that's exactly what the seminar is going to be. I'm going to be getting everybody out of their seats and having fun and interacting. It's going to be a lot of fun.
And I'm on the last day around 10, Thursday around 10, and I'm talking about finding, hiring, and keeping your DJs. So
for those of you not from the South, that's 10. That 10 o'clock, 10. Not 10. People are, what time is 10? I don't understand what 10 o'clock?
T-I-N.
T-I-N, yeah, 10. Yeah, that's 10. It's 10 o'clock is the time that Joe was talking about. Yeah, Joe, you got a busy day that last day because you go on at 10, and then we start our workshop in the afternoon, so you got a long-ass day, man.
It's going to be a long one. It's going to be fun,
Good for you. Good for you.
Thanks, guys.
Tune in.
Mike, see you, brother.
Check it out. Thanks.